In recent times, I've been speaking a lot about my clients and then their finances, right? And today I'm going to be talking a bit about self-sabotaging behavior that a lot of people engage in. A very good example is when somebody has some money and finds a way to just dissipate that money. Imagine somebody getting maybe capital to start a business, and then from the word go, you actually go for a business that you know that you're not going to succeed in it. I see this happen over and over and over again with many of the people I've worked with. But today I have somebody very special with me in the house, and we're not going to be talking about finances. We're going to be talking about relationships and now, not really self-sabotaging behaviors. Instead, we're going to be talking about what we call repetitive patterns, in relationships. So let me just introduce my guest in the house. Her name is Coach Fumi Oni, and she is a mental health therapist that is going to be helping us analyze how repetitive behaviors can hinder us from having the best kind of relationships that we can ever have. Say hello.
Hi, hi, Phyllis. Thank
Uh,
you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to be here. All right, let's just dive straight into the questions. So, my first question is, what are some common repetitive behaviors that hinder people from living their best lives when it comes to relationships?
That's a really good question, Bolu, and it is a major issue that affects relationship, right? Because in my work, I've come across quite a number of people with the fear of going into another relationship because of their past experiences. And one of the major things that stands out for me is conflict avoidance. A lot of people in relationship tend to avoid having difficult conversations.
Mm.
The things that really matter are get swept under the carpet. And what then happens is over time, it builds up and it builds up and then eventually blows up and it blows out of proportion. Why do people avoid having these difficult conversations? Well, unfortunately, it's down to experience, right? Childhood experience. A lot of people have grown up in difficult environments where they don't really know how to have healthy conversations or engage with people on a healthy way. So that is a major reason why people find themselves in repetitive behavior. They've not learned how to speak their truth, respectfully share their own opinion. So they rather avoid because they don't want conflict.
Okay. All right. So, can we have another one? Repetitive behaviors.
Of course, they would share with you two more for the sake of our time. Now, so we've talked about conflict avoidance. The other one is codependency.
Okay.
Now, codependency is huge. Unfortunately, people who are in codependent relationships struggle to get out of it, right? And what does that look like? So I'm in a relationship with somebody, I'm getting something out of the relationship because maybe I don't feel I'm worthy of love. I don't feel that I'm good enough. But here comes somebody, who shows me some kind of love, some kind of attention. Now, this person exhibits lots and lots of horrible behavior that I should have no business, being in a relationship with them. But because they show me attention, I'm getting something out of the relationship. I enable their bad behavior, right?
Mm.
And bad behavior might look like addiction,
Oh.
right? I may even supply and empower them, in that addiction that they have. And some might be finance. I'm the one feeding them, I'm giving them money. But because I'm getting attention, I will hold on to that relationship. So codependency is one. And this one, savior mentality, is a really big one. And we call it savior mentality because the perpetrator feels that they are saving the victim, right? They are providing for them. They are giving them the things that they need, you know, they sponsor them. So it's a giver and taker relationship. The savior provides, and you, the giver, are at the beck and call. You're at the mercy of the giver, right? So you can't leave them because they provide for you. You can't leave them because, you are in a relationship and everybody around you is in a relationship. So I'm in this relationship, but I'm not loved, but he's providing, right? So he is a savior or she is a savior, depending on the dynamics of the relationship. So that's another reason why people find themselves in a repetitive behavior and pattern. I hope that helps.
Yes, it does. It does. And, just as you were mentioning the three categories, it's actually bringing out a lot. Like I can actually picture different scenarios, of people that I've heard of people that I've lived with. And I'm like, wow. Yeah, because I've always wondered, why would you date, for example, maybe a cultist, and then the next relationship again, all of a sudden you're dating, another, and I'm like, I thought you said you didn't like it the first time. Why are you going into it again? Or for women, for example, that maybe have abusive relationships, right? They marry like an abuser, and then the next time you're getting out of that, and then you go ahead and find, and it makes many people wonder: is it that they can't see it, and or it's just quite interesting, and I'm happy that we're having this conversation. So the next thing I'm going to ask you is this: if you can you define what repetitive behaviors are? If there was a simple definition, if you're explaining it to maybe a child, right? How would you define repetitive behavioral patterns?
It's exactly what it says on the tin, Bolu. It's repeated behavior, a behavior that is done over and over and over again, right? So a repetitive behavior could be negative, it could be positive. Now, in this case, we're looking at negative patterns, right? We're looking at the things that happens over and over and over again. What makes people feel stuck in a relationship, right? And that's what that is. Why do I feel that I have to be in this relationship, that nobody else gets me, that this guy understands me? He's beating you up, he's isolated you from family and friends, but you still feel he still understands me. So when you get out of that relationship, unfortunately, because of the way you see yourself, right? It's the value that you place on yourself. If you feel that you don't have any value, if you don't have a really healthy self-esteem, you will see that you will believe that nobody else can love you. So even if this guy dumps you, unfortunately, you would attract a similar person into your life because it's how you see yourself, it's the energy that you send out, unfortunately. You wouldn't think that somebody, if you meet somebody that genuinely loves you, do you know what? You would doubt that person. You will feel there's something they want. You'll be suspicious of that person. You think, why would this person really care about me? And so you would sit on the fence. In fact, I've worked with people who are in that same situation. They met somebody that genuinely cares, but they sabotage that relationship because of their behavior based on their past experiences. They're constantly checking up on that person. The person, your partner goes out, you wonder, are they really going out or are they seeing somebody else?
Wow.
So there's just a lot that plays on your mind. So you need to work on yourself, you know.
All right, that's really explanatory, and yeah, I think it's so important that we're discussing this today. All right, let's just get straight into solutions because I'm sure that people that are listening want to hear, so what can I do? Maybe you've identified one or two patterns and you're like, oh my goodness, that's me. All right, so what can people do, to stop this negative patterns?
The very first thing that I would say to anybody who is stuck, right? You really need to work on yourself. You need to begin to work on your self-belief, your self-esteem, right? You need to have what we call a learner's attitude, a learner's mindset. First, you need to know that what you've experienced is an experience. It doesn't have to define your destiny. It doesn't have to define your future, right? You can turn things around, but you need to begin to believe in yourself. You need to begin to work on your self-belief, build your self-esteem up, your valuing system. You need to you need to know that you are worth more, right? That's critical, essential. You are worth more, right? So a change of mindset is important. That's the starting point. And when you begin to do that, right, understand what your values are, what's important to you as a person. Write them down. It's not just, I want somebody that is kind, I want somebody that is good. Those are necessities, essentials, right? But more than that, who is important to you, right? You want somebody, for example, that will be transparent with you. You want somebody that would respect you. You want somebody that you can trust, right? You want somebody that says what they do. They walk their talk, right? So think about you as a person. What is important to you and write them down, okay? And then the next thing you then do is begin to learn how to build boundaries. You have to learn how to build boundaries because boundaries, what that boundary looks like is you're telling yourself that you are worthy of respect and I respect me. So somebody else should respect me. That's what boundaries are. And set boundaries. And the last thing is learn how to enforce those boundaries. So it's one thing for you to set boundaries. It's another thing for you to know how to enforce those boundaries. Very important.
Awesome, awesome learning that we've had here. I'll just reiterate the points as we round up today. So, if you need to stop negative patterns in your life, the first thing is you need a change of mindset. You need to become self aware, understand who you are, understand your emotions. And secondly, you need to define your values. Thirdly, you must work on yourself and then begin to build boundaries and finally enforce those boundaries. It's been so amazing talking to you today. Thank you so much for joining me and wishing you an amazing rest of the day.
Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure speaking with you, Billy. Thank you.
I trust you've learned a lot about repetitive patterns from today's video. I want to encourage you to watch out for the next 4 videos where you're going to be learning more about what you need to do as a career professional to build a healthy relationship. You deserve a good love life. You deserve a man or a woman that loves you just the way you are. All right. And if you happen to live around Milton Keynes, London, or Northampton, there's something absolutely special coming your way. On the 13th of April, we're going to have a conference or a workshop called Single But Not Lonely. That is an event, it's a physical event where you get to meet people who are growth minded about their relationship, just like you. And then you also get to meet amazing speakers, learn about yourself, network, and have some food and drinks. All right. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much and see you tomorrow.